Bonjour les étudiants, comment allez-vous? There was an excellent question that came up this week from one of your classmates. And the question was, when you're listening to a sentence, how does someone tell the difference between il, singular, and il, plural? So he or him, and they, masculine, or the difference between elle and elle, plural she, or excuse me, singular she and plural they, but a group of ladies. So written looks like this: il, he versus il, they, elle versus elle, the singular versus the plural. Can you figure it out? Well, there's two answers. First, let's look back at our être conjugation list. So you'll see here, je suis, tu es, il est, so he is going to be conjugated differently than ils sont. So you have to listen for that conjugation of the verb in order to say, the il is pronounced the same, but the a and the sont are very different. Same thing with elle, she is, versus elles sont, they are, a group of ladies are. So that is the answer number one, so the verb conjugation. And answer number two is by context. Once we get into further conversations, instead of just one sentence, sort of fragments of a conversation, you will be able to understand more and say, I understand that the speaker is talking about one person or multiple people. So there's your answers for that excellent question. Awesome job, thanks for asking. So there's one new major grammar concept this week. It is the definitive article, which is a fancy way of saying, how do you translate the word the? In French, this is la and les, or sometimes L apostrophe. Let me go into this. So far, we know un stylo, a pen. In order to say a pen, you use the form un to say a or one. If you want to say the pen and be more specific, more definitive, if you will, you're going to say le stylo, the pen, instead of un pen. So un, anytime you would use that, is the masculine singular form. Le is the masculine singular form of the definitive article instead of the indefinite article. So not definitive, a or one. Definitive, the pen. You're talking about a specific pen. So masculine and masculine. For feminine, zoom in a little bit here. You've got une fenêtre, which you already know as a window. Any window in general, feminine, becomes la fenêtre, the window. I'm talking about one specific window here. So une and la would be the feminine forms when we're talking about a feminine singular noun. Here, there we go. And the plural, you know, des cahiers, some notebooks, turns into les cahiers. I'm not talking about any notebooks here. I'm talking about these specific, the notebooks here. So you have a masculine form, un and le, une and la for the feminine form, and des and les for the plural form. Now, attention, as usual, there's a little exception to any good rule. So, as we've talked about before, that beautiful liaison, the rhythmic, gorgeous sounding French that flows from one word into another comes because French is not a choppy language. In order to do this, you've got to have a way to have those syllables connected. When you have a vowel that starts a noun, you are going to have a way to connect that. And that's where the L apostrophe comes in. Make sure that you can see it here. So with nouns that begin with a vowel, un ordinateur, a computer. If you're talking about the computer specifically, it becomes L apostrophe, L apostrophe, the computer, l'ordinateur. So instead of, because we know it's a masculine noun, it would be un ordinateur. Normally, if ordinateur did not begin with a vowel, it would be le, whatever the noun is. But since this is a vowel here, the le, le, becomes L apostrophe. Same thing with the feminine version of nouns. Une étudiante begins with a vowel. And how do I know it's a female student? Because we've got that E on the end. Becomes l'étudiante. And we've got the L apostrophe again. So anytime you've got a noun that starts with a vowel, doesn't matter if it's masculine or if it's feminine, that le or la changes to L apostrophe. Don't worry about the plural form, because as we talked about down here, the plural is des cahiers or les cahiers, depending upon if you're talking about in general notebooks or more specific, the notebooks, or whatever your plural noun is. So there you go. Voila, the grammar concept of the week. The definitive article, le, la, les, and sometimes the L apostrophe. Bonne journée.